My name is Lindsay. I am a homeschool mom to a third grader and a kindergartner. Today we're going to be talking about my third grader's individual subjects. I try to do as much as we possibly can as a family. We've been homeschooling, so he's 8. We've been homeschooling since he was 3 and have always kind of tried to do it together. So even though I had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, that 1-year-old was still like participating with us, and it just made my life easier from the get-go to style our homeschool day like that. So there's not many subjects that my kids do individually, but my third grader has 3, and I'm gonna show them to you. Well, I'll tell you what they are because they're just PDFs. Anyway, so if you want to know what our family subjects are, I have a video on that. You can check it out, family subjects for this school year. My third grader this year, he will be doing language arts, which we use the Good and the Beautiful for. We started the Good and the Beautiful when he was in pre-K 3, so in 2020 when we started homeschooling in pre-K 3. And I really liked it, but I think I was still kind of learning the curriculum and didn't totally understand it. And so we switched away for a little while and did How to Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. And it was working. It taught me a lot about how to teach reading. I think that book is valuable just for any parent to read the beginning of it. If you're not a teacher or a past teacher and haven't been taught how to teach reading before, I think that book is, the introduction to it is very valuable. But I don't know, it was a little bit of a struggle to get him to do it for a while, and I think that comes with that age for sure. But also I just kept thinking about how like colorful and fun the Good and the Beautiful's curriculum was. And so we decided to switch back to it when he started kindergarten. And because it had been a bit, I started with the kindergarten prep. I think that's what it's called, kindergarten prep maybe. And then we went on into kindergarten from there, and it was fantastic, and I've never looked back since. Their curriculum, I appreciate it so much more now. If you are a Christian and have qualms about it being written by a Mormon, I understand that, but also want you to know, like, if it's gonna mess up your faith walk in any way, shape, or form, don't play with snakes. But it is written in, they have a whole board of religious people making sure that it's not just strictly Mormon, if that makes sense. And so I have never found anything in it that made me go like, ooh, wish that wasn't there. No, it's all like very little hints of like, God our creator made a beautiful world. Isn't that wonderful? Very simple things like that, at least up to the point that we're at right now. So it's a great curriculum, and I wouldn't just throw the baby out with bathwater without looking into it a little bit more, if that makes sense. So I'll explain a little bit. It's colorful, it's beautiful. It is a spiral learning. So you focus on one thing that they're learning, and then you review something you learned recently, and you review something you learned a little bit longer ago, but less frequently, if that makes sense, and so on. And so, I don't know, it just does a really good job of covering everything and reviewing things and like not wearing your kids out because you're focusing so hard on one thing that you're learning and that you have to master. I like that. I also like that it's fun. If I were to like build my own curriculum, I would want it to look like this. Like there's a game here and a little activity here, and I don't know how to explain it, but it makes the work easier. And so because it's fun and light and colorful, it isn't like exhausting their brains to try and learn, they don't even always realize that they are learning because they're enjoying what they're doing, if that makes sense. So for my second son, because I had kind of learned with my guinea pig, we started him in preschool, pre-K3. We did the preschool, the Good and the Beautiful language arts. And then his second preschool year, so VPK or pre-K4, he did the kindergarten prep that year. And because that was less lessons and it took him less time to go through, I did the test to see like if he would be good for kindergarten yet, and he answered every single question perfectly while he was still in pre-K4. And so I was like, all right, I don't want months and months to go by before we start kindergarten. So the second half of his VPK year, pre-K4 year, we just started kindergarten very slowly. Like instead of doing a lesson a day, we would do like one worksheet a day, like not even the front and the back, just one side, just to keep him moving forward and to keep him from backsliding. So when he started kindergarten this year, he was actually a decent ways into his kindergarten lessons already. But now we have stepped it up a notch to him doing full lessons a day, and he was totally prepared for that. So that's how I would suggest doing it for anybody that's just starting and wants to use the Good and the Beautiful. That has worked out really well for him in the last few years. Then for math, so my third grader for math also uses the Good and the Beautiful. We started him on their kindergarten math when he was in kindergarten and have stuck with it this whole time. And same thing, it is fun and colorful, and most of the time I don't think he even really realizes like that he's doing school, because it's just interactive games, and I don't know, it's really cool what they have put together, the curriculum that they have put together. And then finally, the last thing that he's doing, it's just worksheets. I could show you, but it's all just worksheets. Let me see. So, just printed out loose leaf worksheets, because I've just downloaded the PDF. The language arts, I think, is free to download. So you could really look into the curriculums without actually having to buy them. But then the last individual subject that my third grader does is typing, and that also is from the Good and the Beautiful. If you don't like the Good and the Beautiful, I promise none of our family subjects, no, that's not true. Our handwriting is the Good and the Beautiful, but none of our other family subjects are from them. Just for these core subjects, I really, really like them. So typing, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, we learned typing in computer class on a really fun, like video game type style thing. It was loud and bright, and you had the cover over the keyboard. And I saw this on their website, and I was like, how is a book gonna teach my kid how to type? Like, don't you need flashing lights and stuff? Well, no, the book works great. He has learned how to type. So we started the school year out with him doing a lesson every single day. So you can see like this is lesson 1, lesson 2. And then probably about halfway through the school year, I just started having him do like a lesson once or twice a week, once every 1 or 2 weeks, something like that. Not as frequently, basically. And so he's at the very end of this book now. There's 80 lessons in here. I think he's at like 78 or something, lesson 78 maybe. We started the school year with him only doing a lesson once a week, because basically it's kind of like the Spanish. I realized that if we really wanted to learn it, we needed to be doing it frequently every day. But now that he has really learned how to type and is basically just practicing, he doesn't need to do it as often. So I have him do this once a week. Once he finishes this book, there is a typing 2 that we will be moving on to. So those are my third graders' individual subjects. Again, if you want to learn about all of our family subjects, check out that video. And if you want to learn about my kindergartners' individual subjects, pretty similar. I kind of told you what they were already, but I'll be making a video for just his as well. All right, see you later.